Hello, everyone, and welcome you here for our last session of the AI learning series. So, today we are going to talk about AI agents evaluations and deployment. So, I have posted a question for you. If you have joined all our sessions or at least watched all our previous content, that would be amazing to know. Next slide. Uh, Just a brief background who we are. So WCC is a women coding community, a community that has a mission to create a safe place for women and allies of women and to thrive in tech through education, mentorship, community building, and other programs that we run in the community. We do a lot of workshops, events like this. We do, as a community, go to conferences, and you have the opportunity to get sometimes free conference tickets as well. For the code of conduct, there's a link. I can share the details of our website here as well, where you can check out the code of conduct. We want everybody to feel safe, and if you have any concerns, you can report it to us as well. How you can get connected with us? You can join our Slack channel. You can browse through our website that I'm going to pop it up in the chat, or you can look up our meetup as well for future events like this and more. Next slide. So today, me and Sonika are going to present this session. So we both are senior engineers, and we work in technology for a very long time. So, and this series has been just pure heart and soul that we wanted to bring to this community, what we have learned so far in AI space, and wanted to give back. And that's why this series has just got started, and we are asking you to just come learn with us, contribute, and grow for the community, grow yourself in an AI space. And next. So far what we have covered, this is our journey. So we started with AI fundamentals, and then we moved on to prompt engineering, learned about RAG, and then we discussed what AI agents are. We built single agents and multi-agent system using Google ADK. And now we are on our sixth and final session for the introductory series, that is agent evaluations and deployment. So you are going to learn about the agent evaluations, and then you will have followed by a demo on how you can deploy everything all together. So moving on, I'll hand it over to Sonika to just go with the agenda.
Hello, everyone. Nice to have you all here today. So today I'll be doing the session, and Sonali will pick up the demo in the end. So evaluation, that is the topic for today. So we'll see why evaluation is different from traditional evaluation in terms of AI agents, why it matters, what are the metrics we can use for evaluation, some of the methods which are available in ADK, especially because that's what we followed for our AI agent building, and then a production checklist. So hopefully you will take some screenshots, watch the video later, because there are lots of checklists you'll be seeing today for deployment to production. So carrying on. So the first one, I just wanted to have a quick recap. So what did we saw from start to end? So we started with LLMs, just a prompt, sending it to a model, API or SDK, whatever worked for you. And then we added retrieval, so RAG. We talked about how to add external memory and your internal databases and provide it as a context to your model prompts. And then added tools, Google search or whatever. And then you build an agent with a certain architecture, React, COT. So using different architecture, you build an agent. And then one agent is not enough, as we talked last time. So we build multi-agent systems, which works for real-life problems. carrying on. So what is the problem here? Why this is different? Why we are talking about evaluation when evaluation is built in most of the traditional systems already, and we are also building agents on cloud. So we are deploying there. There is already tracing. There is already monitoring. So what is different about this? So the difference is non-deterministic behavior of Gen AI. So just looking at the output, it's not 0 and 1 anymore. So how do we evaluate it's a good enough output? It's cost effective. Is it will be able to deploy to production for scalability and performance or not? So these are the things we'll talk about today. Now this I call the pillars of evaluation for agents. Now, if you look at it, this looks very similar to traditional systems. So correctness. So is it giving you right answer? Quality. Is the answer good enough? Reliability. Is it working? Is it scaling with more users? Is it crashing? How many times? What is the latency? And then cost. So cost is really, really important here because the way we are using APIs, AI APIs these days, it can grow exponentially, even if it's like in cents or pence. And then so cost is really important. We need to have some metrics around cost. And latency I talked about. Is it fast enough? So if your agent is really good and giving you really good answers, but it's taking like 10 seconds, nobody's going to use your system. And then satisfaction. So you made a chatbot, it's giving good answers, but is it up to the satisfaction of the user? Is user happy after the conversation finished? So things like that we'll talk about today. So now we need some metrics here. You can't improve what you don't measure. So you need to measure different metrics, rubrics here. Let's talk about that. So I wanted to show a little difference. I found it really interesting because it also has, in the center, you see LLM model evaluation. So you have traditional systems. So what is a core unit? You have function, you have modules and services. In LLM model, you have foundation LLMs. That's it. So you're not checking anything else. You already have a generic foundation model. You are evaluating it. Now, in terms of agents, you have to check the whole system. You have to evaluate your LLM plus your tools plus your prompt quality, how much context you're giving it. So these are the systems you will be evaluating. So in traditional system, the behavior is deterministic. Here in LLMs, it is non-deterministic, basically probabilistic. And same goes for agents, but here you also have to check the trajectory. So you gave 10 tools to your agent, and it only needed 3 for the response, but he used 5. Is it good enough? So that kind of things. And the key metrics in traditional, it will be pass, fail, code coverage, things like that for unit testing. In LLM model evaluation, you have accuracy, how it is handling spell mistakes, for example. Yeah. So all the nuances of human natural language. But in LM agent evaluation, you also need to check, did it complete the task? Did the tool use was successful? Did it actually pick up the right tool? So reasoning and cost and everything. So there's a lot of more metrics when it comes to agents. So hopefully you will remember some of the checklist from here. So let's go to the next one and see. So how do you divide it in these 3 things? So I already talked about quality. So quality will be like, so I asked something and it gave me a response. Is it useful to me or not? Was the response tone good? Is the accuracy proper? So all the quality metrics. Performance metric will be latency, the traditional one. So latency, throughput, error rates, uptime, how much it crashes or not crashes, how does it scale, so that kind of thing. And the cost metrics, first thing will be the token usage and API cost, and then the deployment cost. And the last one, really, really important, cost per interaction. So in interaction, which you expect it, so the the path you expected to take, how much cost will be for that path. So you need to calculate it per user because it scales really fast. So I wanted to start with what we built in all these things, all the series. So we built a bot for WCC information in the first session. So how do you check a chatbot evaluation? And then we'll see the RAG evaluation. Then we'll move on to agents. So in the chat, so you again check, did it answer your question? So the quality, right? Accuracy, completeness, tone was friendly or not? Was it professional? If it is not, you change your prompt. You give this information in the prompt itself. You try system prompts or so that kind of thing you try to get the actual good quality of response. Then you see the conversation quality. So did it remember what I said earlier? So is it making sense? So it might make sense in the your last question, but does it connect to the previous one? Did it actually is helpful like a human or not? So conversation quality, and then performance. um, so average response time for each transaction or interaction, success rate. If something fails, how was the fallback? So that kind of question. So now there's an example. It says, okay, I think I showed this in that session. So when is the next WCC event? So a bad response will be, we have many events, check out our calendar. So this is not a wrong answer. It is an answer which is true actually, but is it good enough for building this whole system? Does it actually serve the purpose? So the good answer will be, it gives you exact date, time, and tells you which workshop it is or which event it is. All right. Let's move on to RAG. Now, RAG has layered evaluation it needs. So because RAG was a multi-step process, right? So you were saving your embeddings, you were using those embeddings, and then you were sending those embeddings to the LLM and seeing does it work. So the first will be the retrieval quality check. So you have chunks saved. Was size correct? Does that size work for your use case? Do you need to reduce or increase the size? How was the retrieval quality, the precision, the recall? So recall means, so if 10 chunks were the answer to your question, so it should have been retrieved. How many were actually retrieved using this retrieval? So that kind of check. And then generation. So when you give it to the LLM, does it does the LLM actually uses that context to answer your question, or is it ignoring it? If it's ignoring, that's a prompt problem. So you need to fix your prompt. Tell it to use that context you're passing it, so it makes more relevance to you and it's makes more sense to you. And then source attribution. So as I showed you in the RAG session, so the citations. So it picked up a chunk. Is it able to go back to the source and show where it picked up from? Can user, if we are having human checks on the system, is user able to go back and check the information? So that kind of things. There are systems called like RAG as well, which is using another LLM as a judge to check this evaluation, which we'll talk about in a minute. So these two are the non-agent ones. And let's move on to the agent one. So again, it looks similar, but it's different for every use case. It's little different. Now, in this case, you have a multi-agent success matrix. So it says task completion, tool usage, reasoning quality, and cost efficiency. Now, task completion, we already talked about in our chatbot. So did it achieve the goal? Did it answer your question? Did human, so it answered your question, but it wasn't good enough. So human had to ask another question for that. So did it need human intervention? So for task completion, how many times user has to give more and more input to find the answer? So that kind of metrics. Then reasoning quality, was the logical reasoning good? Was there any fallbacks, error recovery scenarios, handling the edge cases? It was there or not? Cost efficiency, tokens per chat, conversation, unnecessary tool calls, redundant reasoning. So these kind of things. Now this is a different one. So tool usage. It's very specific to agents. Did it pick the right tool? Did the execution worked properly? If the tool failed, how did it work? So that kind of scenarios are needed in agent evaluation. So there is an example. So it shows you that this is the, so it will, so you're asking find a speaker for Python workshop. I think we did that in our agent, multi-agent workshop. So it went to the web, searched it. I was showing you, there was a web search happening, Google search, using the URL I provided. Then it checked the LinkedIn credential, then, email or whatever. So these are the steps. This is the optimal path. Okay, a good agent will take this path, but a bad agent will search general speakers. It's not sticking to the what do you call, the constitutional, the rules you have given it. So it's not sticking to it. It's doing whatever it wants. You have given a Google search, it's searching all over the world. So that is not optimal. And then it's searching for Python tutorials. You just ask for Python experts. It's searching something different. So last two steps are fine, but the previous one are like having extra steps, which doesn't work for us. The cost is more steps are taken, it takes longer. So that kind of valuation. Any questions till now? Cool. Okay. So this is our evaluation toolkit. Automated metrics, which are mostly similar to traditional metric or something which we can think of, like, is answer correct or not, that kind of thing. So those automated metrics are most of the time available in whatever tool you are using for your agent building. For example, we used ADK. ADK out of the box provide all these metrics to you. It's up to you how you're using it. It's giving you tracing and everything we were showing you in the tabs earlier in ADK web. So those kind of things are available to you, and you can use it however you want to for logging or monitoring or whatever. The second one is LLMS Judge. This is a very, very good technique, and it works really well. So in this case, you will use a little expensive LLM, which is higher quality than the LLM you're using, and you check the output with some parameters, which we'll talk about in next screens. Then human evaluation, the gold standard. So you always need human evaluation in any type of agent you're building, and how much you need it, we'll talk about in next slides. And then production and analytics is the actual use. When user is actually using your agent, what type of behavior you're getting from production. So that these four metrics you need for your agents. And then ADK specific one, which I love. It's so good. So trajectory evaluation is inbuilt into ADK. So what is trajectory evaluation? Basically, as we talked about, there was an optimal path in this. So you needed 3 tool calls to find the answer to your question, but it did 5. So this is a different trajectory. So it will check, this is the optimal trajectory similar to the actual trajectory the agent took. And if it's not the same, then what is the score? So it gives a score to you back. And then next one is a user simulation, which is like magical. If you think about it, you don't have to write your test cases by hand. User simulation is inbuilt into ADK. Basically, you can test your agent for something like, for example, you are buying something and you change your mind at the last screen and you're saying, okay, I don't like the white top. Can we go back and buy a red one? Okay, so the agent need to remember what was your size, what were your all other preferences, and take an optimal path to again go back, just change the product, and then carry on. And it also checks like things like any nuances in your language. So as I talked about, spell mistakes or something which humans do but systems don't. So it will create those kind of simulations automatically. Okay, now we are going to look into it detail.
Sorry, I think I have a question in the previous slide. When
Okay.
you were mentioning about LLM as judge, and when you are talking about having, I'm just curious, will it be good to just play around with the same model. So one model I've created an agent using as a Gemini Flash. And can I use another agent or another like a method that would be evaluating the whole agent but using the same model? So what would be the pros and cons of using the same model?
So I don't think it will work. I mean, it should work. But if you think about it, if you are generating output using one model, then ideally you should be either using a better version, so maybe a pro version, if you're using like a Flash one as a normal one, because LLM as judge won't be running on every transaction, although you can do it, but it will pick up some spot instances and then run it to check the to evaluate it. So it's basically better to go with a better model or a different one. So if you're using Gemini, maybe use Claude or LLM as a judge. So it gives you a different mindset, a different output, basically. Otherwise, if you give the same input to the same model, it will be good enough for it, right? It won't be any different. But the way it works can capture some stats with the same model as well. So think I was going to show you later on for that. Does it answer your question, Sonali?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So automated matrix, here it's just some sanity checks. So if you are expecting the exact output, so I have given it a format. Date should be in this format, time should be in this format. Then you do the exact match. If you are looking for semantic similarity, you do that match. So and then you get a similarity score. So there is a cosine similarity you can do. So you asked for an event date. It said next event is Wednesday at 7 p.m. But the actual output was this is what you expected. The actual output was the upcoming meetup started 7 p.m. on Wednesday. It's exactly the same thing. But in this case, in string matching, it will fail. But in semantic similarity, it's very similar. It's almost 0.9. So it works well for us. So these kind of checks you can do, especially if you are using natural language processing in your chatbot or whatever system agent you have made. So this works really well. And then sometime you go even further, you say, okay, I'm just looking for keywords. So if you ask this kind of question, there should be a date return, there should be a time return. So that kind of thing, you can also check. It's called keyword presence. So this kind of things you can do in automated metrics on top of your general normal metrics like tracing, latency, accuracy, and things like that. So now the LLM as judge. So Sonali, you are asking. So generally, what we do is when you're using LLM as a judge, you give this this first box, this kind of a prompt to your LLM, which is acting as a judge. So you say, okay, this is the question, this is the response. You pass it on to it, users' questions and LLM's response, and any context you have, and then you say, can you rate it for relevance, for accuracy, for completeness? Now this LLM as judge will have the same tools available. Everything will be same, just the model is different and its query is different. So it will check these metrics. So you can, so even if you're using same model, it will give you something back, obviously. But if you're using a different model, this will work better. That's what I think. So output will be something like, okay, so relevance is 4, accuracy is 5, this kind of thing. And it can also give you reasoning, like explainability, why it is giving this score. So an example will be like, what programming languages does WCC teach? So we'll say Python, JavaScript primarily, and it will say missing. So accuracy is low because it's missing mention of other languages like React and Java or things like that. Okay, now the important thing to notice here is, although it looks like if you're using an expensive model, it will cost you extra. But if you are using humans, it will cost you even more. So it's always good to go with LLM as judge. And if it doesn't work for you, train a model, maybe a small model, to just give you output for your own stats or your own metrics. So it gives you good responses, then going for a human check. Now, human check is unavoidable, so you always need that. So as I said, you train a small set model, a small model, So what you do is you create this golden data set. That's what ADK calls it. So you create a golden data set where you have all kind of different representation samples from different group of people. So they are giving your output some rating or things like that. And then you train your model based on that. And then you use that. And then you can do human spot checks. So not all the time, but for example, out of 100, you can check one output, or out of 1,000, you can check one output using human. So there is always a possibility your trained model will also degrade. So it's always, so this is something you can't at this point until we reaching, that stage. So you always need a human check for sure. So that's what we call gold standard in agents. Okay. So production analytics, we said when it is deployed in production, how it will behave. So that is the even diamond set, I would say. So it tells you exactly how your agent is behaving. Okay, I think they're talking about user simulation, but I had it separately as well. Okay, let's talk about trajectory evaluation. I think we talked about it already. There are two key metrics ADK provides: tool trajectory average score and rubric-based tool usage quality V1. Okay, that is the name of the metric. So basically, this will tell you, it will give you a score, and it tells you first on average how it behaved, how was the trajectory of your agent, was it good enough or not, did it give the actual answer which user expected, so that kind of thing. So you can do that. And no, I don't have the screen. Let's go back. So human evaluation. Here it says it's a user simulation. It's an ADK feature, and I haven't used it actually. So I was really interested. So maybe in next sessions we'll talk more about this and how it behaves. So yeah, maybe if you have time, go have a look. Okay. Yeah, this is the golden data set, as I talked about earlier, and you can evaluate your trajectory and response based on that. Now you have built all this system. You have all these metrics, human, the simulation, the accuracies, and all the metrics. But you can't use one at a time. You can, if you use one at a time, the accuracy won't be very good for the agent. But you can layer it basically. So this is how Google says you can do deployments. Basically, how agents should be deployed. There should be unit tests on all your tools, and anything which is like atomic in your code should be tested using unit test as always. And then you do integration test. Now, integration test is where ADK comes into picture. It will do all its usual metrics, usual evaluations. You can also set your own evaluations there, and you can do human, LLM as judge, and the user simulation and things like that. And then you can also have human check at the end for end-to-end review. And based on that, your CI/CD can proceed. Let's have another look as a sequence diagram, which I think explains it better. So you have a dev, it pushed a new code in your agent. It triggered a build. So your CI runner is running. And then it goes to ADK evaluator. ADK evaluator has certain evaluation, either custom or out of the box. It's running it. It loads the agent code, runs a golden data set, compare the trajectory for what you have mentioned should be running. And then if it is fine, it's good enough, it will deploy the new agent code. If it is not, it just fail it. So basically, it should be built into your CI/CD itself. It's not something you do manually. Okay, so this is the checklist I was talking about. So this is basically, while you're working on it, you will remember it, but I think it's good to have this kind of checklist. Your evaluation metrics, your monitoring. It's inbuilt in ADK, but if you're using other like LangChain or LangGraph or AutoGen or things like that, so you need to have all these things already in place. Safety and security, we didn't talk about in this session because we already talked about in all the other sessions. We started from session 1. We talked about PII detection, And we talked about rate limiting and content filtering on input and output and the tone and safety checks and things like that in your LLM calls. And then cost management. You build a really good agent. It's working really well, no latency and everything. If it's really expensive, nobody's going to deploy it or take it to production. So this is really important. So you build your architecture around this. I think that's it from me. Okay, documentation is obviously important. So it has your all um, the trajectories and everything you need to document along with your architecture. Any rollback plans, any limitations, assumptions, and everything should be listed as usual. So yeah. Um, okay, so now we as like because we started working on this series as a like a personal project. So either you were building something for WCC or something for your own use cases. So at this point, I think automated metrics is really good. So it works for you. You don't want nothing. You want something. So you go with automated metrics, whatever is available in ADK. But if you're going to production, you need both of these, the top ones. But if you can't do human, at least do LLM as judge and production analytics. So that is like the must have in production. Um, Otherwise, your system will crash in the system production. So yeah. Uh, okay, demo time. Sonali, over to you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sonika. Thank you so much for that amazing insight on evaluations. I would quickly showcase you the evaluation if I can. I'll try via what ADK already has built in. So, just this. So I've just started my ADK web. It's going to just simply start the server, and what we have seen in the previous let me open a new window. In the previous sessions, we saw that you have this agent, and we were talking about I want to uh, enroll as a mentee. So I'm not going to run everything. I'm just trying to showcase that. Okay, sorry, I didn't select it. Maybe let me try to start from a different session. Yeah, I have to start from here. So this is going to just simply run our agent, and the agent will be up and running. And once the agent would be up and running, then you will see the agent. And I'll say, I want to enroll as a mentee. Something is not right. Okay.
Can you go back to the statues? Not here, not in the console.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying because I just created as an exposed as an API, and my tools something would not be right. So I didn't try to run just the
Okay.
ADK web, but I can do it from the different session folder. So if you go to session 4, session 4. Demo, and we start ADK web page. That's fine. In the meanwhile, I can fix this one as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now you can see um, um, because these are some of the stats that we were talking about. You can see some of the traces, some of these like sessions details and the evaluation. I think they've changed slightly. Previously, you can actually see the evaluation stats before create, like you don't have to create your own evaluation set. And now I think they have changed it slightly that you have to create your evaluation set and then you can have all that data available to you. But this is something that you can trace it, like how much time it took it to invocation, then it invoked the agent and how. So these are some of the matrix that are still available. But if you want to have any targeted evaluations, then you can actually have to create evaluation set here. So this is just to show what ADK already has.
So now can you go to
Yeah.
events?
Yeah.
So I think it also shows if you click on it, if you go to events, I think there's a tab at the top, events. Yeah. If you double click on it, it
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
shows you the tool calls. So if it has called the tool, it will become green in that event. So for now, it hasn't used any tool.
Mm, mm.
So nothing is showing. So also the tool is visible in this chat box as well when it uses. So you can also check which tools are being used or not from here. And it has request response for everything.
So yeah, a lot of things are in build, but yeah, these UI stuff they keep on changing as well, because I remember I was able to see this previously very clearly somewhere above, but yeah, I think they have changed. That's it from the previous agent that we built. But what we have done it today, what we have done it for this session, how we can deploy your agent, give it a like a name, expose it as an API, and see how it works. So today I'm going to show you how I've extended the same agent and exposed it as an API. Um, item. So basically, I'll show you in the meantime, the server is started. So I've just simply used Fast API to expose, utilize the mentorship agent that we have built. And it's just simply using this runner that is going to expose the agent as a root agent as an agent. And I've given my app the name as mentorship app for now, but it's basically just an endpoint that I've exposed. I didn't want it to play much around it because we can develop more how we wanted to. So this is going to be a get request once my API, my server is up and running, which is running now. So if I go here, localhost 8080, so I'll show you. So it just, because it's just the get API, so I'll just, so this was the get API that I created here, just to show us a root message whenever there is a get call. But then if I have to see a post, you can actually simply go and do like a good swagger. uh, so it just simply shows you this amazing Swagger document where it will tell you what this get endpoint is, what is this post endpoint is. So I'm just demoing it to you how I built it, and I'm running it locally. So if I try this and I say, hey, for now. I didn't play much around the session ID checks or hello, and I would say user one. Okay, so I'm expecting it should call my agent and give a response back to me. So if you see, hello, are you applying to be a mentor or mentee? It is exactly the same response we received. Again, maybe we can do more around it, but this is something that we built, like expose our agent as a chat agent. So now once we have this agent exposed as an API, what next? I want to deploy using cloudRun. So for all that step, you don't have to do anything. You can actually come over here in the session 6 folder. You can simply straight away go to the README. You have the details around what we have covered in this session, what the folder structure looks like. And after this session, you simply have to again go to the starter kit. Again, there is a README to when you have to do hands on your own and you want to see how it works and you want to deploy your own agent. So there are a couple of steps that you have to do. So you have to first have your project ID and region, preferably the US Central one is the free tier region for Google. So if you'll enroll it, you I think get a $300 credit for free to just try, and I think you get it for 1 year. So you can play around with Google services. I've tried to incorporate everything from installing your Google Cloud CLI on your own. So everything is available here. So this is the installation guide for your CLI. Then you can actually follow this deployment guide to actually deploy your app as is, this particular mentorship agent and the API on a dedicated host, and your app. And again, you can build on top of it, because I just was interested in building in a backend endpoint and expose it, and maybe like we work in microservices, that my service is exposed as a backend service. So that's what I have built for now and deployed it. So you can follow this deployment guide as well. This is available here. All the links are on this README as well. For now, I think, again, this is the local version. My API is running in the background. If you see here, what I did, I'll just quickly show you so that we can save some time as well. So I just I have this app available on this. I just authenticated my CLI to allow me to access GC auth login, basically G Cloud or auth login. This allows my Google account to authenticate my CLI. This way, once this is authenticated, then you can give this deploy command, which is G cloudRun deploy, and all the parameters from your thing. And then once that is done, then it is okay. It doesn't open CLI. So once that is done, then this is deployed and the URL is provided it to you. So if I'll go and see, it should be the same. And in the notes, I've also provided the details how you can stop your service. So this is a service that is already deployed, and you can actually go to your Google Cloud services and you can see that service up and running. So you can see exactly what I saw it on my local, that my app has a get uh, endpoint. And now if I do the same, so it has a chat endpoint exposed, and we can try it, the same stuff, or you can use any of your client, clients to make these requests, post requests, Postman, Bruno, and others. So if I do, oh, sorry. And execute. So it's the same. So simply, it looks very easy, but it's the way you can play around, explore how your agent is up and running exposed via an app, right? So I think that's was it from me from a demo perspective. Uh, just bring this back. I'll stop sharing my screen. I think the only other thing that we would like to mention, uh, if you have any questions for this particular demo, or if you have any questions for the whole content, you can drop us a note on the Slack channel. Uh, or if you have any questions, you can ping me or Sonika as well. Apart from that, I will be dropping a feedback so you can see in the slides as well. Once Sonika covers the resources section, and I'll drop the feedback link as well. You want to cover something, Sonika, about the resources stuff?
Um, so basically, I just gave some documentation. So I talked about ragas, and if you're not using ADK, so Langsmith evaluation is very famous and quite mature. So that can be used. And some of the tools libraries I've mentioned here, I think the reading list is same from the start. So yeah, you can have a look from evaluation point of view. Um, and QA, if you have any questions, just go ahead. You can interrupt anytime. So foundation badge, this is the criteria we already mentioned in all of the sessions. So you complete 6 sessions, videos or live, and then you submit to working projects. Some people have already submitted. So go ahead. We have time till end of January for the foundation badge for the AI series. Any questions, you can put it on a Slack channel. Yes, Sally?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I have maybe a bit weird questions. That these are general questions. So, is it possible to mix the features of this evaluation from different frameworks? I mean, I haven't worked with all of them, so I don't know. Some of them maybe having better features, and the rest are much more stronger in other aspects.
Definitely. So as I've mentioned in the ADK session, so because ADK is an open source, it works well with other frameworks. Most of the features are available out of the box, but if you have something, for example, sometimes Langsmith have something extra, or maybe you're deploying in some other cloud, not GCP. So if you want something like that, so go ahead and try out other features. So I think it's always good to compare to know more. Yeah.
And since both of you are coming from not you're from business domain as well, business world, so how would you evaluate these frameworks? I mean, if somebody wants to use them at work and have them in production line, apart from that, which cloud provider they are using, how would you recommend to choose among them?
So if you go with ADK, so ADK is very much compatible with Google Cloud, and it's cheaper to deploy there as well, just because of that. So you can try that, but ADK can be wrapped up as Docker, just as Sonali was showing. So when it's in container, you can deploy anywhere you want to, basically. So I would say if you're already using something, go with that cloud provider. But if you're using ADK, then you should give Google Cloud a chance. So because I think there's a lot of things out of the box, so it saves a lot of time and manual effort to set up everything. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, I would like to add on that as well. Like, I have seen, because ADK is very new, so when you are taking those decisions, ADK or any AI space which is quite new, it can evaluate, it can scale up, and it will have features in future as well. And as Sonika said, because it's a Google product, so Google will always try to incorporate a lot of Google services into it that will make it easier for people to adopt ADK and deploy it. Like I was able to do it very quickly. It was an amazing learning from my perspective, that I was learning about GCP. I've done everything in AWS in my previous organization. I'm doing completely different cloud in this space, and GCP is something that I'm doing for AI learning for myself. So yeah, almost all the cloud providers are similar, but I think, as she mentioned, if you have a very strong opinion, like you cannot use GCP, but you have like AWS or Azure, and you just want to use ADK as an agent or any agent platform, then wrap it up in Docker and deploy it on your cloud provider as well. So that's also always a good option anytime.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Okay.
Any
So
questions? Any more questions? You can drop us in chat as well.
So this is a survey for this whole series, and we are very interested in knowing how it went. We put a lot of effort into it because it was a weekly session, so it took a lot of time out of other than our work. So we want to know exactly what you want to do next year after this. So there are some options in this feedback form. And please submit it. We'll put it everywhere. So other people who have joined the previous sessions or who are watching the videos can also submit. So we want to know basically how it went and what do you want to do next? Yep. So I think that's the last one. Yep. That's all for today. Feel free to ask any questions. We have 5 minutes left.